Last week, we absolutely crushed our UFC Atlantic City PrizePicks entry, and we're looking to do the same here for UFC Vegas 90. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to give you my favorite PrizePicks entry for UFC Vegas 90. If you don't know what PrizePicks is, it's daily fantasy. You come in here, you say more or less than the numbers you see on the screen, and you can make some very real money. They'll even give you free money to play. The only thing you need to do is go to wewantpicks.com/prizepicks, use promo code WWP, and they will instantly match your deposit. If you give them $20, they'll give you $20. If you give them $50, they will give you $50. If you give them $100, they will give you $100 instantly that you can use to build an entry. And then if you win, you can withdraw all of that money and ride off into the sunset. If you lose, well, you lost their free money. Go to wewantpicks.com/prizepicks, promo code WWP, and get your free money. I'm going to break down UFC Vegas 90, but this is all sports, even darts and cricket and video games, the big three. But let's go ahead and focus on UFC Vegas 90. I typically am not a humongous fan of doing significant strike overs or unders because if you don't know, significant strikes is literally a subjective number. There is a human being with a clicker that is clicking every time him or her thinks that a significant strike landed. So it can get tricky very quickly. Some people think strikes on the ground are significant, others don't, and it can vary. What we can do is look at the matchup, look at the fighters, look at how often they land significant strikes, how often their opponents are hit with significant strikes, and use some deductive reasoning. There are actually 3 different significant strike lines that I like here. And right off the rip, we are going to go Norma Dumont less than 45.5 significant strikes. And this is for 2 reasons. One, she doesn't get over that number very often, regardless of who she's fighting stylistically or where she is in that fight. And 2, we then look at her opponent. Germaine de Randamie is a very high-level striker. And if you go through Germaine de Randamie's fight history, I know I said her name wrong. I know I did. If you go through her fight history, she is almost never hit with that many significant strikes, especially in a 3-round fight. You will not find a 3-round fight where she was hit more than 45 times with significant strikes. So we have a Norma Dumont who doesn't normally get to that number. We have her opponent who never gets hit with that number. And then we have a matchup where Norma is probably going to be looking for cage control or takedown. So I think we are good with Norma not getting to 45.5 significant strikes. Somewhat similar logic with our boy Walter here. So if you don't know who Walter Walker is, he is Johnny Walker's younger brother. He's a massive heavyweight. He's a Dagestani-style wrestler, and that's what he looks to do. His striking sucks. He tucks his head down. He just kind of throws to throw. His striking is atrocious. And then he shoots takedowns, gets it to the ground. I don't think this fight's going to last very long. And even if it does last a long time, it will be on the ground. And there will not be a lot of significant strikes. I do not see Walter Walker getting anywhere near 40 significant strikes. I'm actually astonished that this is the number. So I think the less there is a very, very easy play. And then we're going to go Brendan Allen more than 52.5 significant strikes. Using that same logic of let's look at Brendan, let's look at his opponent. We'll start with his opponent. Chris Curtis is hit a ton. Chris Curtis, for somebody who has such a good Philly shell, for somebody who has that knockout power, for somebody who is highly regarded for their striking, he is hit more often than he hits his opponents, and he is hit a lot. And if you go through his fight history, almost every single fight he's been in, he has been hit with far more than 52.5 significant strikes. And then if we go through Brendan Allen's fight history, even in fights like when Andre Muniz, where he grappled and won by submission, he got past this number. This is a 5-round fight. All the other fights I just mentioned were 3 rounds. This is a 5-round fight. I do think Brendan Allen can land that amount of strikes. If it goes to a decision, he certainly will cruise past that number. I think Brendan Allen can get there. I don't think Brendan Allen's going to have the success that he thinks he's going to have with the wrestling, which is going to force him to stand and strike for a little bit. If we then work our way to fight minutes, the only line I like here is more than 5 minutes with Charlie Campbell. And the reason I like that line is because Trevor Peek is so damn durable. Trevor Peek is not a guy that you're just going to get out of there. And yeah, Charlie Campbell just knocked out Dominic Reyes' little brother, but he had Alex Reyes. He had a blood disease. He was out for 3 years. Like, that's not a guy that you can knock out and then say, look at me, I'm a knockout king. So we have Charlie Campbell, a technical striker who wants to stay on the outside, versus a buzzsaw in Trevor Peek, who's just going to charge forward. Trevor's not really a guy that can get finished. Charlie should be technical enough to survive the first round. All we need is 1 second into the second round for this to hit, and I think it does. I don't like the rest of these. Alex Morono, fight minutes, 12.5. I don't know, man. Court McGee was just knocked out cold 2 fights in a vault. Walter Volker, I know I said Walter Volker, but we're just going to keep going. UFC debut, he's going to wrestle heavy. We already have him. Brendan Allen, I actually think the more on 14.75 fight minutes is good, but last time they fought, he was knocked out in 2 minutes. Alexander Hernandez, that should go the distance as well. Ignacio Bahamondes, you never know what that guy's going to do. So then we'll go to fantasy score. I don't really like any of these. So if you don't know how the fantasy score works here, just click on scoring chart, and here is how points are scored. So then you can look at the scoring and work your way through that. Obviously, the fight conclusion bonuses is where the majority of these points are going to come from. So when we see the 100 pluses, obviously PrizePicks is thinking that Ignacio Bahamondes is going to win by finish, which is why they're giving him a 100-point fantasy line. I don't love any of these fantasy lines. Typically, I'll come in here, I'll look for a favorite that I'm almost positive is going to lose, and then I'll do the less. I don't love these, so we're going to leave those alone. And for our fifth and final line, what I do like is the less on Pereira Rodriguez, 1.5 takedowns against Cynthia Calvillo. And the reason I like that, Cynthia Calvillo's on a 5-fight losing skid. It's not great. But if you go through Cynthia Calvillo's fight history, you realize she has only ever been taken down more than 1 time, 2 times in her entire career. And you have to go all the way back to 2017 for that to have happened. And it was against Carla Esparza, the most dominant wrestler in this division. So Pereira Rodriguez is going to come forward. She's going to bomb away, look to headhunt, probably try to squeeze in some takedowns, but Cynthia Calvillo has great takedown defense. Cynthia Calvillo does a really good job getting people to fight her fight. So I don't think Pereira Rodriguez is going to get 2 takedowns. But even if she does, we're Gucci. Because this is a 5-pick entry. It is automatically a flex play. It doesn't adjust the payout. It's automatically a flex play. If we get all of these correct, we 10 times our money. If Pereira Rodriguez turns into a Nurmagomedov brother, we still double our money. And if we lose 3 of these, we still get a bag of money back. This is my entry. I have already placed this entry. We can look at it here and recap it. We got Norma Dumont, 45.5 significant strikes. We are going less. Walter Walker, less than 40.5 significant strikes. Brendan Allen, more than 52.5 significant strikes. Charles Campbell, more than 5 fight minutes. And Pereira Rodriguez, less than 1.5 takedowns. Guys, this is my entry. You can build your entry any way that you want to, or you can hop aboard this one. We did do pretty well last week. The most important thing here, though, is get your free money. Go to wewantpicks.com/prizepicks. Use promo code WWP, and they will instantly match your deposit. Get your free money, build yourself an entry, and then head over to our free Discord to share that entry, talk with everybody, and let's pick each other's brains and make some money together. wewantpicks.com/prizepicks, promo code WWP.